Belief and dismay. A high-profile sci-fi event organizer faces child pornography charges. A shocking discovery. A community stunned by the deaths of their elderly neighbors. Keeping secrets. But is the Nova Scotia government required to withhold those ferry contract details? And trouble in Haiti. Maritimers among those stranded as street violence erupts.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Steve Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. We begin here tonight with what seems to have become
snowplows and motorists becoming a very bad combination. The worst fears are realized after the Amber Alert in Ontario. And is there a secret to living happily ever after?
CTV News with Mitsumi Takahashi.
Good evening. On the streets of Montreal, the patience is starting to wear thin.
Now, CTV News continues right now with Graham Richardson and Patricia Bull. Here's what's making news right now.
Thanks, Megan. Tonight, the debate around autism funding ramps up.
And in Kingston, a cold case police investigation that reads like a movie script. CTV News at 6 starts right now. Tonight, the minister at the center of a heated debate over autism funding, not backing down.
We're going to proceed with the plan.
But Lisa MacLeod is apologizing for inflammatory comments she's alleged to have made. Cold case arrests.
I can tell you that DNA was part of this investigation, but that's as far as I can go.
OPP and Kingston police believe they've solved a murderous crime spree. Detoured due to snowbanks.
There's nobody to direct traffic, only one lane really open for all the cars to be able to go.
Customers confused and frustrated as OC Transpo reroutes service. And talk about a growth industry.
It's the world headquarters of something that's just beginning.
A local CEO says his cannabis operation set to double in size 5 years.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a stalemate on both sides of the autism issue.
We begin live on the scene of a horrific crime. A child murdered. Her body found inside this Brampton home. Her father is the accused killer.
Ria Rajkumar died on her birthday. She turned 11 years old yesterday. Good evening. She was spending her birthday with her father.
Late last night, she became the subject of an Amber Alert. CTV's John Musselman is outside the home where the child's body was found by police.
Tonight,
a tragic ending to an Amber Alert. An 11-year-old girl found dead.
We are proceeding with a first-degree murder charge.
How a tip from the public led to her father's arrest in Oro-Medonte. Plus, a new ferry for Christian Island.
I think a better ferry, a more reliable ferry, a safer ferry, opens all sorts of economic opportunity.
What the new boat will mean for the community. And no satisfaction for some Rolling Stones fans.
And you gotta start all over, so I lost the tickets. So I'm not happy.
The difficulties fans face trying to get tickets.
CTV News with Sean Gray.
Good evening. A horrific end to an Amber Alert. A father
night pleading for help.
Bring some kind of closure, please.
To find a killer.
Someone out there knows something.
The search for answers in a triple homicide. Multiple pileups.
I scooted out of the way, someone hit me.
Prompt a warning from police.
And there was blowing snow at the time.
What to do behind the wheel in a whiteout. A Valentine's Day love story.
There's a bond that's been there all the time.
The Kitchener couple celebrating 65 years of marriage.
It's getting sweeter every day.
Their secret to lasting love. Good evening. 3 months after their loved ones were found dead in a stolen pickup truck, grieving families in 6 nations are desperate.
Tonight, voyeurism. The Supreme Court convicts a previously acquitted London teacher. Public appeal.
So if anybody out there can help us bring some kind of closure, please.
A family member looks for answers in the November triple murder outside Oneida First Nation territory. And Star Power. Unifor rolls out a big gun in its battle against General Motors in Oshawa.
It's about loyalty. You know, these workers have loyally given their lives to the company. It's a two-way street. You can't just walk away.
CTV News with Camille Ross.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The Supreme Court of Canada.
Double stabbing. Police investigate after 2 incidences within a 24-hour period. Motivating at-risk youth. How a provincial grant is helping troubled teens change their lives. Masters of Flip. This renovation duo with a Windsor connection makes a pit stop to meet up with fans.
CTV News with Stephanie Mazzotti.
Good evening. Windsor police are investigating 2 stabbings.
Tonight on CTV News at 6. Better fill up soon. Gas prices are said to be going up tonight.
I'm Molly Fromer in Sudbury, where a major renovation is finished here at Science North, just in time for Family Day weekend.
It's the largest investment in this space in our 35-year history.
I'm Jairus Patterson in Sault Ste. Marie, where close to 200 people showed up to march for an important cause.
So today is our annual March for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls.
Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take.
British rock star Sting puts on a special edition of his new musical just for GM workers in Oshawa.
And how's your Valentine's Day? A new survey says a lot of Canadians may not be into it.
CTV News at 6 with Brendan Connor and Marina Moore.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a heads up for drivers.
Not sitting well with drivers.
Unfortunately, they're very, very disappointed, very disheartened.
Tonight, why transit put a stop to an on-bus memorial for murdered driver Irvin Fraser.
Also tonight, a financial rift.
I think more constructive dialogue from the province would be helpful.
Politicians take to Twitter as the province and city fight over funding.
Plus,
get ready to hear hey-ho quite a bit in the coming weeks. I'm John Hendricks, and I'll show you how Festival de Voyageur is celebrating its 50th anniversary.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Gord LeClaire and Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. A decision by
Good afternoon, and thank you for watching. After Saskatchewan made its argument
tonight, a pro-pipeline convoy makes its way through Saskatchewan. The Premier faces questions over the Brandt CNIB building in Wascana Park. And influential leaders by day, rock stars by night.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News with Heather Anderson and Lee Jones.
Good evening. With horns honking and engines roaring, you may have spotted a convoy.
This is CTV News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Blair Farthing. Coming up on today's show, the Lac La Ronge Indian Band is receiving funding to build a wellness center. And the Riders spent their Valentine's Day signing new players. But first, here's what's making headlines. A high school student was struck by a vehicle yesterday at Carleton Comprehensive High School.
Too close to home.
We're terrified to let the dogs out in the backyard.
2 kids arrested after bullets strike a Saskatoon house.
painful problems.
If northern communities had access to physiotherapy, it would be an absolute game changer.
Why options are limited for people suffering from back pain.
skating by.
It's frigid. Even the ice is cold.
One man's quest to keep a community rink going.
This is the CTV News at 6 with Chantel Saunders and Sean Leslie.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a shooting in the Pleasant Hill neighborhood. Multiple shots were fired at a home.
Hitting the road. A pro-pipeline, anti-carbon tax convoy bound for Ottawa.
Wait till 300 pissed-off Alberta truck drivers get here. You're going to see some noise.
A customer cries foul over suddenly increased parking rates.
I feel they're taking advantage of people with the weather, and it's a shame.
Though it turns out it is within the company's rights.
And a really public display of affection. A Valentine's Day proposal.
We're so very.
A lot of people saying it felt warmer today, despite the fact that it was the coldest Valentine's Day in decades. It doesn't get much warmer in the short term either.
Live from Edmonton, CTV News with Daryl McIntyre and Aaron Isfeld.
Good evening. A large truck convoy from Alberta is making its way to Ottawa this hour.
This trek has been weeks in.
Now the latest news for Red Deer and Central Alberta. The Canada Winter Games are just getting started in Red Deer. The final torch relay took place in Red Deer on Friday ahead of the opening ceremony Friday night. CTV's Tyson Vidor reports.
Red Deer is ready.
A vision that started 8 years ago is now reality.
Our community has been building towards this day for many, many years.
The bidding process for
trucking their message to Ottawa.
Build that pipe, build that pipe.
Will this massive pro-pipeline convoy from Alberta get any traction on Parliament Hill? Plus, feeling exploited.
We won't let our son be used.
Why the family of an injured Humboldt Bronco is on the move again and spreading the love.
Would you like a balloon?
Why this group of Calgarians wants everyone to feel the warmth this Valentine's Day.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. From Grand Prairie to Brooks, rallies and convoys have been.
TV News at 5. An avalanche at Castle Mountain buries 2 people. Plus, the town of Claresholm is preparing to grow medicinal marijuana. And a Lethbridge goalie is getting a lot of net time for the Calgary Hitmen.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. 2 southern Alberta students were buried at an avalanche at Castle Mountain Ski Resort this afternoon.
Another snowfall warning for Metro Vancouver. How long this latest winter wallop will last. Also, sinkhole scandal. Families devastated as they're forced out of their homes. How could these houses have been approved? And power play. Get ready to pay more for hydro.
BC Hydro bought too much energy.
Why the NDP is blaming the Liberals for price hikes.
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Scott Roberts is off tonight. Here we go again. Breaking news as significant snowfall comes down across much of the Lower Mainland.
Island kids finally back in class.
Are you sad you had to go back to school today?
Yeah, a little bit.
So happy to have the kids back at school today.
But the snow? It's not finished.
So the most snow is expected for the southern and eastern parts of the island, including Victoria.
This is about a member's perceived conflict of interest.
The Horgan government under attack over an MLA's ties to the taxi industry.
Ridiculous.
Also tonight, a diver makes an unexpected, even historic find off Campbell River.
Finding an anchor like that, an artifact as old as that does not happen every day.
CTV News at 6 with Andrew Johnson.
Good evening. You can probably look out your window right now and see it coming down. The snow is not finished with Vancouver Island, not yet. Instead, a new warning and the promise of more next week.